Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another instalment of the Now Review. And hot off the heels of the last one, it's that time again. We've got another yearbook release, and we're going further back in time. Rather than progressing forward to 1985, we've decided to go back to the very beginning of the decade. So join me as we explore two different variants of Now Yearbook 1980. So as usual, there's three different versions. There's the standard edition CD, there's the special edition CD, and there's the 3 LP vinyl set. I always go for two of them. I go for the special edition CD, and I go for the vinyl, which is what we'll be looking at today. But just look at the cover. The main colour this time is a stark white. So those who maybe are unfamiliar, there's a different main colour chosen each time. That rainbow strip at the bottom is always there. The first release, Now Yearbook 83, that was black. Now Yearbook 84 was blue. 82 was yellow, 81 was red, and now 80 is white. So very, it stands out on the shelves. You aren't going to miss it, that's for sure. So I think we'll start off, as we always do, with the Special Edition 4 CD. What makes it special is this includes a booklet as part of the package, and if you look on the side, it is also styled like a book with a more solid spine than the regular release. Apart from that, the cover is pretty much the same. It's the old Style Now logo from the 80s present here, which is ironic because Now started in 1983, so a 1980 release wouldn't have even existed, but hey, here we are. It does make you wonder if they'll go back to 1979 or if they'll finally progress forward to 1985. We'll open it all up and all that a bit later, but now let's take a look at the all-important track list. So kicking it off on CD1, we have Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, one of their biggest hits. I think it's their biggest hit in the US, actually, or biggest selling. Massive tune there, glad that's here. We have Atomic by Blondie, another iconic track from that year, very good there. Dog Eat Dog by Adam and the Ants. I think I made this clear in the 81 review, but I've never been a fan of Adam and the Ants. They're just not for me. We have Babushka by Kate Bush, nice to see her here. It's funny how for Now 112, which is coming out soon, they couldn't get a certain song of hers that has become popular recently, but hey-ho, never mind. You've got Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police, Gino by Dexy's Midnight Runners, Brass in Pocket by Pretenders, I didn't realise that one was that early. You have Start by The Jam, Baggy Trousers by Madness, one of their biggest hits, very good as well. Super Trooper by ABBA, one of their hits towards the end of their initial run, good tune though, glad that's here. Spacer by Sheila and B Devotion, oh I thought that came out in 79, what must have been one of the last disco hits then. Upside Down by Diana Ross, that's iconic. Funky Town by Lip Sync, often considered to be possibly the last great disco hit, or one of them certainly, before that sort of took a rest. Enola Gay by Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, fabulous song, love that that's here. To Cut a Long Story Short by Spandau Ballet. Now, I always thought this came out in 1981, but maybe the single came out in 1980. It's definitely on their first album, I know that. We have Sleepwalk by Ultravox, I Die You Die by Gary Newman, Oh Yeah by Roxy Music, Please Don't Go by Casey and the Sunshine Band, One Day I'll Fly Away by Randy Crawford, and we finish off with You, I'm Born Again by Billy Preston and Cyrita. So that's 21 tracks on CD1, very good stuff. CD2, we have Just Like Starting Over by John Lennon. I've noticed in these yearbook releases, we've had a lot of John Lennon tracks. I don't know if that's just his estate has opened up to including him on compilations like this, but it's nice to see him get his discography represented. It's Still Rock and Roll to Me by Billy Joel, Emotional Rescue by the Rolling Stones, Coming Up by Paul McCartney, that's a fun bop, Runaway Boys by Stray Cats, What You're Proposing by Status Quo, All Night Long by Rainbow, Breaking the Law by Judas Priest, is that the one I'm thinking of? Ace of Spades by Motorhead, was that 1980? Was it that old? Goodness me. Me, Myself, I by Joan Armour Trading, I think that's how you say it, All Out of Love by Air Supply, nice little tune there. Lady by Kenny Rogers, On the Radio by Donna Summer, Never Knew Love Like This Before by Stephanie Mills, a medley, Working My Way Back to You and Forgive Me Girl by The Spinners, that should be interesting, Searching by Change, and The Beat Goes On by The Whispers, You Gave Me Love by Crown Heights Affair, I Don't Believe You Want to Get Up and Dance, Oops Upside Your Head, that's a long title, but the iconic disco bop from the Gap Band that still gets played today, Let's Get Serious by Jermaine Jackson, nice to have a Jackson represented, and one of Jermaine's better tunes, certainly. Behind the Groove by Tina Marie, and Funkin' for Jamaica by Tom Brown. Okay, some songs I still recognise there, nowhere near as many as CD1, which I always say makes it very interesting for me to go listening through these, but that is 22 tracks, that's 43 so far. CD3, we have London Calling by The Clash, one of their biggest hits, Going Underground by The Jam, Talk of the Town by Pretenders, another one for them here, Baby I Love You by Ramones, I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down, Elvis Costello and the Attractions, Eighth Day by Hazel O'Connor, Happy House by Suey and the Banshees, Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division. Again, I didn't know that was that early, 1980. Echo Beach by Martha and the Muffins, Over You by Roxy Music, Living by Numbers by New Music, So Good to Be Back Home Again by The Tourists, Turning Japanese by The Vapors. Is that culturally insensitive these days? I haven't listened to it, I'd have to re-listen to it, but interesting song. 17 by The Regents, It's Different for Girls by Joe Jackson, Banana Republic by the Boomtown Rats, Food for Thought by UB40, Special Brew by Bad Manners, Missing Words by The Selector, Too Much Too Young by The Special AKA, and My Girl by Madness. So another 21 tracks there. Some artists getting a second tune on this album, which is always nice to see, and that takes our total so far to 64. Now on the last CD, we kick off with ABBA once again. The Winner Takes It All, one of their best ballads, certainly. Really glad that's here. Waterfalls by Paul McCartney, Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime by the Corgis, No Doubt About It by Hot Chocolate. We have Magic by Olivia Newton-John, My Old Piano by Diana Ross, The Tide Is High by Blondie, again excellent tune from them, 9 to 5 Morning Train by Sheena Easton, I'm in the Mood for Dancing by the Nolans, you gotta boogie to that one, haven't you? Feels Like I'm in Love by Kelly Marie, love that song, Dance Yourself Dizzy by Liquid Gold, Use It Up and Wear It Out by Odyssey, Celebration by Kool and the Gang, Jump to the Beat by Stacey Lattisaw, I Wanna Hold Your Hand by Dollar, is that the Beatles version I wonder? Take That Look Off Your Face by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Marty Webb, Escape, the Pina Colada Song by Rupert Holmes, Do That to Me One More Time by Captain and Tennille, What's Another Year by Johnny Logan, Eurovision winner of course from 1980 for Ireland, Suicide is Painless by The Mash, great track from that film, and Stop the Cavalry by Jonah Louie, which I believe is is that the Christmas song? I'm not too sure. But that is 21 tracks again, so that takes your total to 85 tracks across 4 discs. And I think the thing to say about this track list is you really get a mix really representing that turning of music in 1980. You know, the disco era of the late 70s was still sort of around, but it was phasing out. You know, we got tracks like Funky Town, Feels Like I'm in Love, that sort of thing. And we're moving more into like the more main, what would you call it, new romantics, new wavy, post-punky sort of stuff. So there's a good mix on here. So if you like your different genres, you'll be well served, absolutely. Okay then, so opening up the book, we can see first we have CD1 and CD2. Now all the discs are in that sort of greyish colour. I guess making them white would be too bold, so it's like a grey colour. And each of the text has a trim depending on the colour you see here. So CD1 has a red trim, CD2 has a blue trim, CD3 has a green trim, and CD4 has an orange trim, which I think is in keeping with the other yearbooks as well, so that's good to see. And the actual booklet itself, you see now Yearbook 80, we get a little bit about, you know, welcome and a little bit about the year 1980 as well, sort of what was going on, some of the big hits, all that sort of stuff. And a throwback to the old days of now, because they don't do this anymore, sadly, but you get a little bit about each song. You get a little bit about the band that made it or the artist that made it, how high it went in the charts, the album it came from, other singles, stuff like that. So great to see this return in the yearbook format. And note, you only get this in the special edition CD. I don't think you get this in the regular edition. And what's nice is it actually tells you what position it got in the charts and what month as well in 1980, which is always nice to see. So you've got that for all 85 tracks here, so that'll keep you reading for a while. And as we've had in the yearbook, we've got the quiz, the Now Yearbook 1980 quiz, which is just all about tracks going on there at the time. And you get more pictures of the single sleeve art or some pictures of the actual vinyl disc art if a single one's absent, I suppose. That's nice to see there as well. You've got all the usual production information at the back. More singles there at the back. Lovely to see that artwork. No advertisements. No advertisements for the yearbooks unless I've missed that. But I bet you what, if you get the standard edition CD, you'll probably get the advertisements in there. But that is the booklet side of the package of Now Yearbook 1980. Okay, what we're going to do now then is we're going to take a look at Now Yearbook 80, the vinyl edition. So as always with the yearbooks, this is a 3 LP set. You aren't going to get all the tracks from the CD version, so you're not going to get 85 tracks here, because, I mean, God knows how many discs they'd have to include on that one. As you can see, the front cover is exactly the same, just blown up to be a bit bigger, so that stark white cover is still front and center, the old school Now logo there, and the rainbow strip at the bottom. So let's have a look at the all-important track list on the vinyl version and see which tracks made the cut. So starting with LP1 side A, we have Another One Bites the Dust, Atomic, Dog Eat Dog, Babushka, Don't Stand So Close to Me, Brass in Pocket, Start, I Can't Stand Up for Falling Down, and Baggy Trousers. So understandably, especially for the first side of the first LP, a lot of the bigger tracks make their way here. That's hardly a surprise to see. 9 tracks on that side. So LP1 side B, we have Super Trooper, Spacer, Upside Down, Funky Town, that rhymes, Use It Up and Wear It Out, Dance Yourself Dizzy, and Feels Like I'm in Love. So this side really feels like the disco side, doesn't it? You know, a lot of those bops, Super Trooper, Funky Town, Spacer, Feels Like I'm in Love. So I'm happy with LP1 side B. 7 tracks there, so that's 16 total so far. LP2 side A, we have I Just Like Starting Over, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, Emotional Rescue, Coming Up, What You're Proposing, All Night Long, Me, Myself and I, and Suicide is Painless. So them, you know, they're mixing them up from how they were on the CD. Nice to see John Lennon and Paul McCartney on the same disc here together, or the same side. Another 8 tracks, that's 24. LP2 side B, we have Enola Gay by OMD, great song of course, I Die You Die, Love Will Tear Us Apart, Echo Beach, To Cut a Long Story Short, Too Much Too Young, Food for Thought, and Gino. Another 8 tracks there, so that's 32. Again, nice mix genre-wise, you know, you're moving more into the synthy, new wavy, romantic-y era with a lot of these tracks. LP3 side A, we have London Calling, Going Underground, Talk of the Town, Baby I Love You, Happy House, 8th Day, Over You, and It's Different for Girls. So another 8, that takes us to 40. And finally, LP3 side B, we have The Winner Takes It All. Ooh, 2 ABBA tracks, interesting. Oh, that's funny. Magic by Olivia Newton-John, The Tide is High, The Medley, Celebration, One Day I'll Fly Away, and With You, I'm Born Again. So 7 tracks there. So in total, you're getting 47 tracks. So that's just over half, a few over half for the vinyl version if you're interested. But that's your lot. But now let's take it out of its sleeve, shall we? Let's have a look at the actual discs. Okay, so as you can see here, it is on a transparent clear vinyl, which is always nice. Love the different colours. So clear vinyls I'm hit or miss with. I think clear sort of makes the whole effect look cheap. I do prefer a solid colour, but it still looks nice nonetheless. You can see in the middle there's the logo, tells you what LP it is. Very lovely stuff. So if you're into different coloured vinyl or clear vinyl, then this one will serve you well. So that in a nutshell is the special edition 4 CD and the 3LP vinyl edition of Now Yearbook 80. Now, obviously, who would I recommend this for? As always, you've got to check those track lists. I mean, if a given, you know, if 1980 is a particular year in music that you like, whether you were around or you have a fondness for it, if you like the different genres, because there's a lot of them on here, which I think is like, that's a benefit, but also maybe a potential weakness. It depends how you look at it. The benefit being that there's so many different genres, that there's such a breadth of musical experiences to be had on there, which is really nice. But of course, if you say prefer disco over new wave or vice versa or whatever, then you're only really going to enjoy half of this album. So really delve into that track list, decide whether it's for you. In terms of which version, if you're just more casual, you just want a version of it on CD, maybe go for the standard edition. I believe it has all 85 tracks there, you just don't get the booklet. Obviously, if you're more of a collector, I'm sure you'll get more than one copy. If you're specifically into vinyl, then of course you can get the 3LP set. I believe these, though, are limited edition. They last a little bit of time, but probably best to get it sooner rather than later, if you want my opinion there. In terms of where you can get it from, I got both my copies from HMV, but you can also order this from the Now Music website. They've recently revamped it. It's quite nice, actually, but you can get it from there. You can get it from Amazon, I think, and, you know, a few online retailers like that. But best to secure a copy ASAP. The vinyl, as always, retails for $29.99, which I always say, you know, it sounds like a lot, but then, you know, 3 discs, £10 per vinyl disc. I'd say that's not too bad of a deal, really. And the special edition CD retails for £15.99. But again, you can get it from the same places. And I believe the regular edition of this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the regular edition retails for $9.99. So if you just want the bog standard version, that's a tenner. If you want the version with the booklet and a bit of a harder case, that's $16. And if you want the vinyl, that will be $30. But I don't know, I don't think this is my favourite of the yearbooks. I mean, I'm admittedly a bigger fan when it comes to the 80s, more so the mid to late 80s, you know, like when you get House coming in and all that sort of stuff. The early 80s I do like, but I'm nowhere near as fond of it. But as I said, I'm excited to listen to a lot of the tracks that I've never heard before or don't recognise by name. That's always one of the fun parts of this for me. So I'm glad to add Now Yearbook 80 to the collection. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like on this video, very much appreciated. And also let me know in the comments, are you going to be picking up Now Yearbook 80? And if so, which version? Are you going for the standard CD? Are you going for the special edition, the vinyl? Let me know in those comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new, we'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show. And a special thank you to Macra, Jen Samantha Pringle, JPK Live, Anna Art, Adam Martyn's biggest fan, Max Jackson, Kelly is Live, Tracy Smith, Brittany Fan 1999, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry Holt, Tajan the Video Editor 820, Bruce Danton, and the Broken Kitsumanoid, our AMTV staff members.